Well, hello, Young and the Restless Daily Recap fans. Today's weekly recap is for the week of November 4th through November 8th, 2024. Not a whole lot happened, but I promised I would kind of try to keep it at least on a weekly basis. So here I am. Claire and Kyle, they kiss. It gets good. This may actually have been their second kiss. I'm not sure. Comment Cornerland, tell me, was this their second kiss? Because they head on upstairs, and I don't think Claire is a first kiss and let's go hit the sack kind of girl. So anyway, but Summer had just left. They had a great day trick or treating with Harrison, and she and Kyle actually had a really good conversation. They're getting along, with their whole co parenting thing. And Summer left and forgot her phone. She comes back and she finds her phone tucked between the cushion of the couch. But as she's leaving, she sees Claire's purse on that one of the end chairs. And she's looking like, well, where is she? Right? And so she's like, Claire? Kyle? Um, Kyle? And they hear her upstairs. So Kyle comes down trying to button up his shirt, saying, "What is it? Is there anything wrong? What are you doing back here, Summer?" She goes, "I left my phone." Because he goes, "You could have called or you should have called." She goes, "I left my phone, so I couldn't have called." Is everything okay? She says, "Yeah." He goes, "Then why were you calling me?" She said, "Well, I saw Claire's purse here, still here. So I thought, okay, the reason she would still be here is if something was wrong with Harrison. So I was trying to call you to find out. I mean, I was calling for you to find out, is everything okay?" And he goes, "No, Harrison's fine. Everything's fine." And she's looking at him. And then Claire comes down, you know, not buttoning up stuff, but, making sure she's okay, shoveled, right? She's okay. And Summer looks like, okay, I see what's going on here. So Kyle says, "Well, if that's it, Summer, like bye." She goes, "No, I'll be going." And she kind of looks as she goes out. She wasn't approving, she was kind of disapproving, but in her mind, she didn't really know why she would be disapproving. Okay, because she's moved on. Kyle can move on. What he and Claire do is he and Claire's business, just like what she and Chance does is she and Chance's business. Harrison was in bed. So, and Kyle was not apologetic about, "Oh no, like, okay, see ya. Wouldn't want to be ya." Right? So he tells Claire, "Oh, I'm sorry for the interruption." Kind of like, let's pick up where we left off. And Claire said, "You know what? I better go." Summer didn't look too happy. And he goes, I don't care what Summer looked like. Summer does not control what I do, what we do. Okay. What we do is our business as long as Harrison is being taken care of. Okay. So um, Claire says, "Yeah, I understand, but no, I better go." So she leaves. Now, Phyllis is taunts Sharon a bit, right? Just testing the water. She goes, "I know what you did." And Sharon's like, "What are you talking about, Phyllis?" "I know exactly what you did, and I'm gonna prove it." "Give it, just leave it, give it up, Phyllis. Just leave me alone." She goes, "Oh, I'm gonna prove it." And so Sharon is all like jumpy, and Daniel is a ways back, but he's watching Sharon because Phyllis said, "Just have my back." So Phyllis walks away, and Daniel walks up, and he says, "Sorry, if my mother upset you, Sharon, but this is a very trying time for us. No, no, I understand, Daniel, but she has this crazy idea, you know, that I did something. I didn't do, she says she's got proof or she's going to get proof. And so he just looks at her. He goes, like I said, sorry for my mother. And he walks away and she's like, and Nick is coming off the patio and he's like, okay, what was that about? Phyllis being Phyllis. She's saying she's going to prove that I was the one who killed Heather. And he goes, I will talk to Phyllis because she's way out of line with that. Yada, yada, yada. Nick, 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 right? And Sharon's like, no, I mean, you don't have to because there is no proof to get. I didn't do anything, you know? So now Billy and Sally run into each other at society and they end up playing these like role play games, something stupid. Kind of, they're building a comfortable relationship between the two of them for us to see, right? So that it doesn't be Sally being Sally, just jumping in the bed with anybody. Because had Sally had her way and Billy moved a little faster, Sally was dropping down hints the very day after that kiss that she wanted him upstairs. Billy's just got so much on his mind, he hasn't just jumped on her, literally. So anyway, um, Nick says that, oh, back to Nick and Sharon. Sharon says, you know what? I'm going to get a restraining order against Phyllis because Phyllis is harassing me. And Nick says, you know what? Let me talk to her. I honestly don't feel a restraining order is necessary. And when Sharon said that, I thought, well, I'll be a monkey's uncle. You literally were harassing not only Daniel, not only Heather every chance you saw them, but you even went in on their child, their minor. Anybody wanted should have gotten a restraining order would have been them against your crazy behind, right? Mm-hmm. I was like, oh, you gonna do that, Sharon? Okay, okay. So of course she hasn't done the restraining order yet. We'll see if she actually does. Then we have Nate and Amy. The more I hear that Amy chick story, the more I say something's wrong with that story. Something's definitely wrong with it. I honestly wouldn't put it past um her and her son to be working together. Maybe Nate's not rich, but for some reason, it just that story doesn't ring true to me with Amy. And Nate is still, considering helping her, but why I don't know. And for sure, look, it ain't on you, Nate. It's not on you. This man is older than you, if in fact the story is true. And I can't remember everybody. Did she produce a DNA test? Actually, she didn't have a DNA test done because remember, she left Nathaniel, or no, Nathan, and she didn't know she was pregnant, and she didn't tell him. So there's no DNA test done. Now you saying I got a grown brother. I'm gonna have to do a DNA test on him. See, me and him to see if there's a sibling, if we're siblings. Because see, if the test says we're siblings, now you talking. But me taking the word of a complete stranger, heck no. And what I want to know is why has Olivia, Nate's mom, not called her and weighed in on this at all? Either your father never mentioned an Amy, and Amy's talking about it's good to be back in Genoa City. What wasn't it, Amy? Was Amy a nurse? Which probably they're gonna make it. She was a nurse at the hospital because back then they showed the hospital a lot because you could kind of see in the background here my grandson's toys. from this from the Zoom screen. But anyway, it's bothering me, y'all. Um, they show the hospital a lot. I even kind of think Snapper and his brother, Jill's brothers, were working at General City Memorial at the time too, because they had more hospital settings and people back then. So maybe Amy was a nurse, but who cares? That's such a meaningless story, a meaningless story. Um, Phil, Phyllis wants to use Heather's memorial service as a way of spooking out Sharon or getting under her skin. And Daniel and Summer are like, no, this is for Heather. This is not for you to create a spectacle. We are going to honor Heather and give her the service she deserves. And he's like, I mean it, Mom. She goes, yeah, fine. Right. So let me see. She gives Nathan, yeah, which was weird. Her son, I guess his name is Deacon, or that, yeah, Deacon's social security number and his birth certificate. And a lock of his hair so he can do a DNA test. Okay, there we go. See? Now that ties that up. So the first thing Nate needs to do is take that lock of hair and make sure it matches mine. So hopefully he does do a DNA test. Let's see if he does that. And then we've got the funeral. Um, the funeral is here. Daniel's at the coffee house getting some coffee, Dredden heading over. Phyllis is at the GCAC, making sure they rented out the dining area for the memorial service, which was weird to me. There's no chapels in Genoa City. You know, I almost would have said the jazz lounge would have been better. Just turn up the lights. I mean, but you're going to take a hotel's restaurant where people come and go and you paid to rent. I don't know. Come on now, y'all. There's more sets than this for the young and the restless. They did a fake funeral set, mortuary there, you know, burial site. That was a backdrop. They could have done better than the athletic club. So Daniel tells Sharon comes in with Nick and Faith and Sharon. No, Sharon comes in with Nick and Faith. And Daniel looks at her and they're all in black. And he goes, Sharon, I hope you're not planning on coming to Heather's service. And she looks, yeah. He says, no, that's inappropriate. And I'm asking you respectfully not to come because you know how you treated Heather. Well, no, I don't see what a better way for me to show my respects. I feel it's important for me to show my respects to Heather. No, I'm going to be there. And I thought, you don't dictate the guest list, nor would I have let her dictate the guest list. I would have definitely ex-nayed that. And Daniel said, my mother is going to be there. And my mother, can be volatile. And seeing you might make the situation unpredictable. Well, that's Phyllis. I know how to handle myself. No, it's important. I feel it's important for me to be there. And she walked away, and Daniel looked, and Nick said something to Daniel. Daniel said, well, I really wished Sharon wasn't coming. And Nick is like, well, she feels it's important for her to show her respects. And I'm thinking, then you show your doggone respects when everybody is gone. If I asked you not to come, you are not invited. You better not show up, okay? You better not, because we ain't got to worry about my mama acting crazy. I'ma act crazy. You wait until we're gone. As a matter of fact, there was no real reason for Nick and Faith to go. Faith is saying, I'm here, I'm supporting Lucy. Well, you know what? Keep texting the girl supporting her, right? But that to be the excuse, Sharon is, they're both plus one? Heck no. So, anyway, she gets there and she sits kind of off there, to the right of everybody, looking. And Phyllis comes in and she sees her. And Phyllis is like, what the? And Summer steps in front of her, says, Mom, remember your promise. And then Daniel comes up and said, not here. You make sure, not here. And so Phyllis says, yeah. Mm-hmm. So as Phyllis walks by Sharon to take her seat, she's eyeballing her, and Sharon is sitting there with her hands in her lap, right? So the service is done, and everybody's coming to, there's a bucket full of long stem Heather's family favorite flower. It's in a bucket. I think that was Heather's favorite long stem flowers. White, almost looked like a cross between rose and carnation. But anyway, so everybody takes their turn. They stand up. Phyllis is with Daniel, and she's with him, and he gets his rose. I'll just say rose. Puts it down. Phyllis puts hers down. Summer and Chance come up. They do theirs. Michael and Lauren and uh, Christine puts hers down, and then Faith and Nick come up. Now, why Sharon didn't come up when they came up, I don't know, right? Because she got to make us. I got to be last. I got to do this. She wanted all eyes to be on her. So when she gets up there, she's looking down at the casket, right? Knowing you killed this chick, you have the gall to show up and just do this. That's a whole nother level, y'all. But see, that's what they say about murderers. They usually want to be close by to watch what they've done, kind of like the fruits of what they've done, which makes it more just despicable to me with Sharon. So she gets up, and like she did her, and Phyllis is kind of like wanting her to get down, get away. So she reaches, but there's no flour in the bucket. Well, chick, you saw that when you went up. Phyllis jumps up and gives her one. And she looks and she puts it down. And then she sits back down. So now they have the memorial service, or the repast, or whatever you want to call it, at the GCAC. That's why I said they rented it out. And a picture of Heather there, and Sharon walks in with Nick and Faith. And I said, you got to be kidding me. Now, it was one thing for you to insist on going to Graveside to attend that service. But now you're coming to the place where there's supposed to be solace to the family. And what? So Phyllis takes one look at her, and Nick says, Sharon, do you think this is a good idea? Because listen, we don't have to be here. We can definitely go. And she's like, no, it's okay. I'm fine. I want to be here. So Phyllis is Summers's mom. Okay, you just got to keep it together a little bit longer. She goes, oh no, I definitely am going to be reckless. And Summer says, Mom, no, no. She goes, oh, yeah, yeah, I'm going to be reckless. So Phyllis tells everybody, like, ding, 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 everybody gather around. Um, we're all going to say a few words, or anybody wants to say a few words about Heather. Now, let's do it. And guess what? I'll start. So she starts and she says, at the beginning, Heather and I had a rocky relationship years ago, but throughout the years, we grew much closer. And, she was a great daughter-in-law. And then when I was in trouble, because Michael couldn't be my attorney, she stepped in and did a wonderful job. You know, Heather was a very good person. And as she's saying all these things, she's looking at Sharon. And Sharon is like, right. So then Summer, people take their turns saying a few words about Heather. And as Michael was talking, Sharon just couldn't handle it anymore. And so she has to take off, right? So Phyllis follows her and she's going to where the turnstile door's in. And Phyllis says, Sharon. And when she gets to the stairs, she breaks down, hand over her stomach, barely standing up. Phyllis said, it's hard to see, isn't it? Mm-hmm. It's got you in the pit of your stomach. Seeing my son, it was when Daniel started to talk, seeing my son in so much pain. And Sharon's like, go, not now, Phyllis. Go away, Phyllis. She goes, no, no, Sharon. So much pain knowing you did this. You did all of this, Sharon. You killed Heather and you know it. And so Sharon's like, I did not. Her whole I did not was a definite I did, right? I did not. She goes, yes, you did. I'm begging you, as one mother to another, save my son, Sharon. Stop this madness. Stop what you set into motion. And Sharon's like, no, I just can't. Oh, she burst out the little turnstile, and Phyllis goes after her, but Sharon is taken off, and Phyllis is just looking like, yeah, this is only the beginning, chick. Yeah, Sharon's about to crack, chick, and I'm gonna make sure you do. So that's the service, right? And next we have, okay, Victor, for the next pretty much 2 days, Thursday and Friday. It deals with Victor had the original house recreated, aka they decided to just bring that set back. Almost like when they decided to get rid of the Grand Phoenix, which, by the way, was a better, to me, hotel than the GCAC. The only difference is the Grand Phoenix did not have a restaurant, right? And the way the GCAC set was set up, they have more multiple functions, from restaurant to bar to gym to now jazz lounge to hotel. So, okay, but they could have upgraded it, if you ask me, because now that the Newman House is back the original way, who likes all that brown wood? Well, you know what? If you like that in Common Corner Land, say, "Ooh, I love all that dark wood everywhere." But I'm a California girl, We're the Sunshine State, which is I think is Florida too. We call it sunny California. And we like more brightness. We do. You know, wood on the walls. We passed that out here. So that house, I was like, oh my God, that does not look good to me. But I guess if you were recreating an original, whatever, because soon as Nikki walked in, she just felt like she was stepping back in time. She says, when did you have time to have this done? Because it's on another part of the ranch, and where the part of the ranch he chose was had now the windows have overlook the horses grazing in the fields. She could see the stables. You know, it has just this really great view. And it's not in sight of the original house, this rebuilt house that he did. And he goes, I did this for you, my baby. You know, the this is all for you. And she took a tour and she says, oh my goodness, the view from our master bedroom is just phenomenal. And she was talking about, I could see the horses. I could see my horse while they're out grazing. And she goes, it's breathtaking. He said, I had that done for you and mine. So then she came down, and I guess the piano is more like a replica of the piano she learned how to play on. But then he invited first, who came first? Who cares? Victoria and Claire came. Nick showed up, and when they all walked through the door, they were like, wait a minute. This looks exactly like the home we grew up in. I mean, breathtaking to them. And Nick came through. He goes, oh, what is this? Oh my goodness. When was this done? See, they never knew on the ranch because they have to go a completely different way to get to this place, right? And then Abby and Devon came, and Abby's like, look, we were driving to here, and what is this place, right? So Victor says, I'm going to explain everything when everyone gets here. But after Abby walked through the door, he just started talking. And I said, well, what about Adam? What about Adam? He's a part of the family. Well, Adam got a little lost because he was wondering where was he going on the property, but he showed up, and Victor kind of, told him again, but he hadn't gotten too far into the conversation. He said, I had this house rebuilt for your mother because, or not rebuilt. I had this house built for your mother to make it as close to the original as humanly possible. He said, our rebuilt home that was built after the fire, he says, it wasn't quite to my liking. It did not resemble the original home. And I wanted the feel of the original home back. So I had this done for Nikki. And he goes, everybody said, well, how could you do this without her knowing? Nikki says, yeah, he sure did. Your father, he goes, your father's full of surprises. He says, well, that's why it took a little bit longer because the workers had to do things undercover. They had to bring things in this way. He goes, they had to do a lot to make sure. And he had told Nikki, because she had noticed there were some trucks. She goes, what are there trucks on the other side of the property? And he said they were doing some retrofitting from water erosion on the property. So there's going to be some construction there for months until they get it retrofitted. So she bought it because, Nikki believed every lie Victor tell her. So anyway, she goes, yeah, but he sure pulled that over on me. And that was it was, they were in lovey-dove. They had way too many 2 days worth of flashbacks of Victor and Nikki, young Victor, from the first time she went into the old house to just wasted time, flashbacking. So Nick was sitting down with Victor, the little side table. He was saying, Dad, I know you did this for Mom, but you got me emotional when I walked in myself. And he said, son, I did this for the whole family, not just for your mother. And he goes, what are you going to do with the rebuilt house. He goes, well, I want all the family on the rent on the property. You and Christian can move in and have it if you'd like it. And he goes, Nick looked, he goes, no, Christian and I are fine where we're at. Because remember, Nick had that huge house built from scratch, his design. I couldn't see Nick leaving it, even though they haven't showed that set in years. But yeah, that was Nick's taste, his design. He built that house for Christian. And actually, at one point, Chelsea and Connor lived there. Phyllis lived there at one point, So yeah, that's Nick's house. He says, no, we're happy where we are. So Adam came in and said, oh, what you now, mind you, before Nick got there, Victoria was talking to her father, and she was just getting up saying, Daddy, oh my goodness, this makes me so happy. I love it, and Mom loves it too. She stood up and she was kissing him as she was walking away. Then Nick sat down, they had that conversation, and then Adam says, what y'all talking about? And he goes, Dad wants to bring the family onto the ranch. And he says, because now the rebuilt house is free. You want it, Adam? And Adam looked, and he looked at Victor, and he goes, yeah, you and Connor could have it. And I thought, wait a minute. Why would he and Connor have it? It's just the two of them. Victoria was talking to him before Nick sat down. I was offended for her because Victoria has herself, Claire, Johnny, and Katie, 4 people crammed in that little tack house. Why on earth wouldn't Victor say, I want this for Victoria and her family so they could have more room? If Adam wanted to move to the ranch, Adam could move to the tack house. That is definitely enough room for him and Connor. But see, Adam just bought Billy and Lily's old penthouse or old condo. So Adam is happy where he's at. And Victor said Adam might not want to be that close to his father. So Adam says, I'll think about it. Adam ain't gonna want that. And then they all walk out to where the family is, and Adam's getting ready to leave. And Victor says, think about it, son. Think about moving into the house. And Nikki looks. Victoria looks, moving into the empty house. And I'm thinking she should get back to Daddy saying, Daddy, why didn't you offer it to me? Because my whole thing is, what's taking Victoria's house so long being rebuilt? Don't tell me you're waiting for insurance. They have enough money to rebuild the whole house while insurance is settling up, and then just deposit the insurance check, but your house is done. If you are so bent on restoring that house. But see, that house was her and Billy's house. They handpicked that house for themselves. So to me, Victoria could easily move into the rebuilt house. And I don't understand why that was not an option. That was horrible writing on my part and a slap in Victoria's face, if you ask me. And then Victor told Abby that her wedding was going to be at the brand new rebuilt house. And as far as I'm concerned, I looked around. I said, well, for one thing, that place got way too much furniture in it. Every square inch of that's got a knick-knack, a chair, a vase. How you gonna have a wedding? Enough room for a wedding there, but whatever. So anyway, let's go to Comic Corner. Comic Corner. I am says Victor is not stupid. Victor doesn't care who gets hurt, so he wins. That's so true. And I am says Lily needs to step back. And Lynn says hi. Hi, Lynn. Lynn, you only always say hi, right? Hi, Lynn. And then Brooklyn says, oh my goodness, Daily Recap Lady, your performance of Sharon was one of my funniest and your best. I miss you dearly. Lily doesn't understand that Abbott Chancellor isn't her company. Just because Jill chose her instead of her son, it got to her head. Yeah, she feels that that's hers, and it's not hers at all. And then Denzel says, I'm so over the whole storyline with Sharon, Heather, Phyllis, and Daniel. Like, can we just wrap this up and arrest Sharon, clear Daniel's name, and then let the plot twist begin, knowing the real killer could be either Lucy or Lucy's mom, Daisy? Because I'm just tired of the storyline already. You and me both, Denzel. It is, I fast forward so much of it, it's not even funny, right? I hope they don't drag this storyline out till 2025. Goodness gracious. That's all I got to say. For the Victor storyline, destroying Jack and the whole taking of Chancellor Company from Jill Abbott, plus his whole storyline with Billy versus Snitch Lily and his mom. I'm over that storyline too. You're over everything on Young and the Restless, but so am I. I'm with you, Denzel. Like Josh Griffin, just right. Billy and build his own company already. This is giving me a headache. I can't wait until Beyond the Kate's debut next year. What's Beyond the Kate's debut next year? Is that a new on Wednesday, January 1st, a fresh new African American daytime soap? Really? Are they gonna do another Generations? Because that was an African American show. So which um Christophe St. John, who played Neil, was on the Generations as the son of the rich family, a very young Christophe St. John. Oh my goodness. I liked Generations a lot. Oh, it's called Beyond the Kates. I'm going to have to look that up. Wowzers. I'll be doing a review on that. I'm so over Kyle not moving out with his spoiled brat self and his parents' storyline too. Great review, daily recaps, like always. All right. Thank you, Denzel. That's it for my weekly review of The Young and the Restless. They're really not going to do well with November sweeps at all. Okay. They bet not have Jordan escape. See, every sweeps for the last three, they've had Jordan be around her. Okay, if you can't win without having that lunatic out, you really have a writing problem. So I will be back next week, probably next weekend, with another weekly recap of The Young and the Restless.